Is we rolling? All right, I think we're rolling. What's going on, everybody? George Osei back at it again with another video. This time we have an album review. I haven't done one of those in a while. This is Armani White's There's a Ghost in My House. This came out, I want to say back in December. Uh, no, October. I might have heard it in December. I think this came out October. Yeah, Halloween. Okay. The way we do reviews here on the program, do a track by track breakdown, give some thoughts, then close with final thoughts and songs that stood out. Right before we get into it, I didn't even know I knew who this artist was, but he made that Billie Eilish song that went viral a couple years ago. So I was like, oh, okay. I do like to look at the album cover because a lot of times when I pick a album to listen to, I look at the album cover. I don't really know a lot of these new people like that. And I like what was going on here. I like the little ghost in the back. I like the crazy hair. Gave me like Julio vibes. I was like, what is this going to be about? Well, I like it. On, throw my band on. There we go. Without further ado, the first song is Home. And this song's about you have unconventional ways of earning money, and those closest to you really don't understand what you're doing and they may find it quite weird. Then you find that success like this, yet still end up feeling alone. Armani White does a great job breaking this down because despite all this, you adjust to that success, opportunities, it makes it all worth it. Great production and lyrics. Salute to him. Out here. Ghosts. This is a classic sample flip. Catchy hook, guns. We loving everything here. Luxury bars. This is about the good life. This is every man's dream in rap. There's a feature on here, Samara. He just raps about just ghosting dudes. Come on, girl. How you gonna rap about ghosting dudes after taking their soul? Oh, that's cold. That is cold. Cut the Lights, the championship version. I don't know any other version. I'm sorry. But this is continuing on to that theme that now Armani White is untouchable. The rap in here is A1. The production is very interesting, mixing your typical drums, but then they throw in a little bit of this theatrical sounds throughout it. But this is a Halloween release, so this is a Halloween feel. Bigger person. You know, this song is kind of like when a relationship comes to an end and now you're just observing them from a distance. Oh, you remember so and so? You're like, yeah, I do. Hope they're doing okay. And it's always great when you level up on them. Now you can never go back because these are going to be risks that you can't take on anymore. This is the life right here. Postmodern, excuse me. Yeah, this is an interesting song. I, that change in a relationship, you realize that the woman that you're with wants to start competing with you. This generally happens when you're broke dating. Now, Armani White is like, now that I have money, I now have way more options, and I no longer have to deal with women that believe they can compete with me. As soon as they see them, they know what it is. This is kind of like that old the right guy, wrong time trope. He also adds in when you're sober around women that are not sober, dealing with that woman can be very challenging. Next we got TTSO. Now Marty White, he is very into fashion. I mean, it's in the name. And people love the way this man dresses. And in this song, he lets you know, this is straight up bravado music right here. But the key takeaway is that the individual, most important thing in life. Shout out to him. Next, Flash Mob 1. It's that hype music. Matter of fact, this is that reckless music. They're throwing some saxophones in the background, and he's just describing everyone that he has lost to these streets. Very interesting concept. Then he doubles back with part two. And on part two, Armani White talks about why someone will find the streets appealing. Now, he says the street doesn't always have to have an end where you are dead or in jail. And there is a way to make it out and have a good life. And I believe he is referencing himself. Shout out to him. Mount Pleasant. Hmm. You know, acceptance can hurt, but it is required for him. Armani White explains how a relationship he had just had to end. Mentions the biggest mistake a man can make when being in a relationship with a woman is oversharing. This is quite common because you want to show that you are emotionally intelligent. But at the end of the day, some women will use that information against you just to hurt you. And once that happens, lines have been crossed, bridges burned, just have to walk away. Say it to me. This is a very groovy song. Groovy intro. This is about people who talk behind your back. Ryan doesn't understand this. Mostly, he's so focused on his life that this is so unimportant to him at the end of the day. Completely, completely, um, yeah, disregarding to these so-called peasants who want to talk behind your back, man. Great lesson right there, man. Not everyone's opinion matters. Phantom. I know I said that I like the album cover on here, but when I looked through the track list, mind you, I was not sure I remembered who this guy was. But T Pain is on the track, so I was like, oh, love me some T Pain. And on here, Armani may be bragging about his success, but don't get him confused. He has not forgotten who he was or where he's come from. And that has molded him to the man that he is today. He doesn't have to be perfect. He's perfectly fine with all that. And I think that was a great way to close out the album. Shout out to Armani White. Since that's and here is my final thoughts. Like I mentioned, I was unfamiliar with him at first till he started saying, like, yeah, man, I made that Billie Eilish song. And I was like, hold up. That's why the voice sounded familiar to me. So I was like, I do know who this guy is. Now, the theme throughout the album is ghost concept applied to what was once there, almost like a void. I was wondering, Armani White here for that purpose? Show us what's in that void or how the void comes past? I don't know. But there's trauma tends to happen to a lot of young male teens, and they're enticed by money, women, and being fly. But not all that glitters is gold. This album shows that growth. Armani White wears his heart on his sleeve and does something that I think more men should do. Brag about your accomplishments. It's inspiring to whoever is willing to listen. This is one of the important messages Armani has for the people who wants to listen to this album. Talks about this is required to get over what we call black guilt. Black guilt is when you come from some of these ghettos, and when you make it out, you still have so much attachment, and you feel like you have to figure out a way to either leave your peoples or help your peoples. And that urge to help them, because they're not bad. You end up feeling bad, like, why did I get this success and not these other people? But that should not stop anyone wanting to get successful. That leads to the second message of the album. Distance. Distance is a sign of strength to avoid tolerating more than you ever intended. That being said, get right into the standouts. We liked Ghost, Bigger Person, TTSO, Flash Mob 1 and 2, Say It To Me, and finally, Phantom. There we go. That is Armani White. Let's Ghost in My House. I'm George Osei. Got nothing more to say. Wherever you see this, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back soon.